No sooner do we sell a fantastic red example of the facelift generation Range Rover Sport, and we have another fantastic red HSE trimmed facelift generation Range Rover Sport to take its place. These are massively popular cars, normal Range Rovers, Range Rover Sports, particularly of this facelift generation, because it really is, you could argue, the sweet spot. You have a huge price saving, a massive price saving actually, over the latest Range Rovers, but a huge advantage in road tax and efficiency, and even in terms of performance and kit as well, over the previous generations of Range Rover. And of course, that's exactly what we'll get into now. First things first though, the price. These were around £50,000-60,000 cars when new, even more of course depending on the engine and the trim level. Now, well, this car is under £18,000. And at that price point, you would naturally assume it must have six-figure mileage, maybe a patchy history. Well, actually, no, it has a full service history behind it, and it's covered 24,000 less miles than the average for one of these 2014 examples on the market at the moment, at barely 63,000. It still has its original 2 keys and owner's book pack as well, and of course being a 3-litre SDV6, you have fantastic fuel economy and a very, very healthy amount of pulling power as well. So if, for example, you were to use it as a holiday vehicle, perhaps a towing vehicle, or just a long distance car, it can take all of that in its stride, which of course is exactly what you'd want from a 4x4. Then where the Range Rover aspect comes in is the added space, the road holding, of course the road presence which these have, and a very, very good level of kit, comfort and luxury. And even though the spec sheet is far too long to get into, and of course you can check that out on Auto Trader if you are interested in the full list, to give you the highlights, it has heated seats, cruise control, a full sliding panoramic roof, reverse camera of course with parking sensors as well, 4-zone climate control, an Alston headliner which itself is an upgrade option as well, auxiliary, Bluetooth, USB and touchscreen interfaces with of course an 8-speaker sound system, as you would hope for, Isofix ready seats for the kids. And to jump over to the point of its engine once again, that 3-litre SDV6 gives you nearly 300 horsepower, so these are certainly not slow vehicles when you need them to be, but also 440 foot-pounds of torque, which is around 600 newton meters. What that means is, as we said earlier on, fantastic towing capacity, and at the same time a huge advantage in economy, efficiency and crucially road tax over the older models. Up to 38 miles to the gallon average, and of course on the motorway it's even higher at up to 42. And the real cherry on the cake is of course road tax. At a time when some older generation Range Rovers, and not just Range Rovers, other 4x4s and executive cars are in some cases up around £740 a year, this in comparison is about half that price at £385. So in other words, not only are you getting what was a £60,000 car for now under 18, you're immediately saving on road tax, saving every year in fact on road tax, and potentially, depending on how often you plan to use it, saving on fuel every day as well over many other options of 4x4. So if you are on the market for a Range Rover Sport, particularly in a striking colour such as this one is with that gorgeous interior to complement it, and absolutely for under £18,000, then of course you could reach out regarding it via the email address shown here on screen, or of course you could give us a call on 01749 871 155 or on our mobile number of 07482 267 439.